Sci-Man.
Hi folks, Sci-Man here, coming to you from the Trip-Hopnological Researchology headquarters. I'm just talking about some of my research project for my master's degree, which is about the sound of UK instrumental hip-hop in the early 1990s, with a particular focus on Ninja Tune especially. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a short excerpt from my research paper, and I'm going to play some music examples and then just talk a little bit about it. So the chapter from the research is called Spy Themes, TV Tunes and the Cinematic. Ollie Tiba of the Herbaliser in an interview says, "You make a piece of music and then you think, what's this song about? Songs have to be about something, right? So we would take samples from movie or TV dialogue or from records with spoken word on them and make that the vocal hook instead." In the Herbaliser track Real Killer Part 2 from their debut album Remedies contains samples from several movie soundtrack albums. Dirty Harry, Zachariah, True Romance. There's definitely some other ones in there, but those are the ones that are listed on whosampled.com, which is where I'm going to play some examples from in a second. Dialogue taken from dramatic scenes about shootings, murders and crime give the song a theme in keeping with the dark atmospherics of the backing track, while the breakbeat rhythms are reminiscent of 70s cop show music or spy movie themes. This is a departure from the standard American form of hip-hop, where rapping MCs are replaced with sampled spoken word from movie dialogue, creating a cinematic soundscape rather than a traditional song structure. There is no definable verse and chorus, rather sections of repetitive looped sampled effects peppered with various pieces of movie dialogue and dynamic lifts and drops created by removing and then returning the breakbeat drum grooves. This is a musical form that was created by the UK producers as a direct result of making hip-hop inspired music but working around the absence of MCs. So I'm going to play some bits from whosampled.com, starting with a sample from the theme for the soundtrack from True Romance. So I'm going to jump to the section in the Herbaliser track first. So here is the Herbaliser.
I'd kill him. Shoot him in the face. Put him down like a dog. Killing's the hard part. Getting away with it, that's easy. As long as you're not at the scene of the crime, smoking a gun in your hand, you get away with it.
Nice. Okay, and then here is the sample source. So this is the True Romance soundtrack with the voice of Val Kilmer as Elvis. And here is the section.
Shoot him in the face. Put him down like a dog.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
Saying nothing of the same I do.
You do that?
Fuck don't deserve to live.
Look, he just harmed me, I mean, I do want to kill him, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life in jail.
Hey, man, I don't blame you.
I thought I'd get away with it.
Get away with it? Killing's the hard part. Getting away with it, that's easy. You think a cop gives a fuck about a pimp? Listen, every pimp in the world gets shot. 2 in the back of the fucking head. Cops will throw a party, man. As long as you're not at the scene of the crime, smoking gun in your hand, you get away with it. Clarence, I like you. I always have.
So there you go. So you can hear it's not the parts in the Herbaliser track. They're not just directly taken. He's had to chop that sample up. So it's not a case of just stick the soundtrack album on the turntable and just drop it in over the top of the song. Ollie talked about this in the interview. And I talk about this a little bit in the paper, where he has to take elements of these things to make them fit in with the song. I mean, obviously, some of that might have been to avoid parental advisory lyrics in there, get rid of the F-bombs, but more likely it was just to fit the theme of the song. So it's not just simply taking some dialogue and randomly throwing it over the top. It's worked in as an actual part of the music, and it's thought out for the biggest dramatic effect. And obviously, as the Elvis character says, "You'll get away with it," then drums kick back in, and it's just got that feel of making the Herbaliser, giving it a vibe, giving it a cinematic feel, and filling out that space so that you've got something to listen to as the listener. It's not just the spooky music in the background, but totally fits with that feel. And then get to the end of that, kick it back in with the breakbeats, and you're on again, you know? So, okay, now this time, we've got a segment from the Dirty Harry theme. Oh, yes. So here, again, I will play the Herbaliser clip first. So here's the Herbaliser Real Killer Part 2.
Please, no more! I'm hurt! Can't you see I'm hurt? You shot me! Please, don't! Let me have a doctor! Let me have a doctor! Please give me a doctor! Don't kill me! You're trying to kill me! If I tried that, your head would be splattered all over this field. Where's the girl?
Love it. All the jazz drums in the background and spooky noises. And Clint. Okay, so here's the section from the Dirty Harry soundtrack.
There, fatso. Please, no more! I'm hurt! Can't you see I'm hurt? You shot me! Please, don't! Let me have a doctor! Let me have a doctor! Please give me a doctor! Don't kill me!
The girl, where is she?
You're trying to kill me!
If I tried that, your head would be splattered all over this field. Where's the girl?
I wasn't fighting.
I said, where's the girl?
I have the right for life.
Where's the girl?
I have the right for life.
So we'll cut that off there as Harry tortures the punk. Okay, so again, you can hear he's chopped little sections out of that to make it all fit nicely. And then Harry says, "Where's the girl?" And the beats kick back in again. So the point of looking at this sort of stuff is because my research basically was about the difference between UK hip hop inspired music and its American origins. Obviously, when you talk about hip hop, everybody thinks about American rap music. But what was happening in the UK, and especially in the early part of the 90s, was people were working around the fact that the UK had not quite found its rap voice at that point. Obviously, it has now in the 21st century. And there were elements of certainly the birth of UK hip hop. But for my research, the people that I was speaking to from Ninja Tunes and labels like that were synonymous with the trip hop label, which I deal with in another video. They were using samples and records instead of working with MCs at that time. So it meant that what they created was another form of hip hop. And people talk about instrumental hip hop. Well, it's not really, because there's so much vocal in these songs. It's just not coming from a live vocalist or hip hop rapper or MC with a microphone. It's coming from spoken word records, from movie dialogue, from clips from soundtrack albums, that kind of thing. And that gives it that cinematic, spooky feel, perhaps because the music itself was kind of cinematic sounding and slightly spooky. Certainly the Real Killer has just got that real edgy cop show spy music vibe to it. So bringing those samples over the top just fits with that whole thing. So I'm going to end this clip by then just reading another little section of the chapter that I wrote on spy themes and the cinematic. Again, just an excerpt from my interview with Ollie from the Herbaliser. He said, "I was always massively into Double D and Steinsky and the wild style thing, with bits of old dialogue from movies thrown in. You've got Crime Does Not Pay by Wildstyle, which has got a bit of Orson Welles, The Shadow, saying crime does not pay. I was fascinated by these movie soundtracks as a kid growing up. I loved the James Bond movies, sci-fi movies, and Star Wars. And so rather than being like, Mom, can you buy me this pop hit when he was a kid, it was, can I get this Jeff Love plays all the sci-fi themes? There is an element of the audience in YouTube who will know exactly what that means. If you're too young to understand that reference, Google Jeff Love sci-fi themes. They were great. I had tons of these records, says Ollie, before I was ever into hip-hop, and it was my basis for record collecting. So for me, when I started sampling, I felt a real connection to that kind of music. So I was pushing more to use these kinds of records. So you can see again, from Ollie's perspective, it's his music history, it's his record collection, but it's his taste and his style. And then when he comes to making music as a grown up kind of little guy, he wanted to start to bring in his influences. So digging into his huge collection of mum purchased Jeff Love sci-fi themes, etc., proved to be a huge big library for sampling. So there you go. It's just a segment of my research paper. There's going to be a website link in down below where you can go and you can find more media stuff, more links. Obviously, if you're on the YouTube channel, then there's a couple more videos in here like this where I'm just talking about little sections of the music. But you can access the full paper, and I have tried very much to write it so that everybody can read it. Hip-hop fans, UK hip-hop fans, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what kind of hip-hop you're into, I am trying to present this just as a celebration of the early 90s UK contribution to the overall hip-hop legacy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Fine, man.